What's up, YouTube? I'm here today to piss a lot of people off, okay? Not intentionally, but it's gonna happen, okay? The claim is that Guild Wars 2 is the most MMO game out of all of the MMORPG games out there right now. It's not even close. In my opinion, and I don't even want to get this started because that would be an even more aggressive way to say it. In my opinion, Guild Wars 2 is the only MMORPG out there, aside from maybe Classic WoW, and we're gonna talk about the examples why I think Classic WoW kind of still fits in that category, and why nothing else really fits in that category. So, yeah, man, get your pitchforks ready. Since it is impossible to have an adult conversation these days without people losing their fucking minds about a subject as delicate as what is an MMO, right? I had the only adult conversation that a human can possibly have in 2025. I talked to ChatGPT, okay, and I asked him what an MMO is, okay, and we went through, quite a lot of, examples. And some of the examples, again, for me, not really are MMO, but then we came to a conclusion, right? And that was basically there's two faces to the MMO. There is the active, cooperative MMO, and then there is the ambient, systemic MMO. Okay, so what is the difference? The difference is that active cooperative MMO is the massiveness is direct. You do large-scale collaborations or large-scale like events, basically conflict, stuff like that. Okay, so for example, the World of Warcraft 40-man raid, even though it is instanced, the 40-man makes it like fucking massive. In my opinion, Battlegrounds is not massive, 10v10. However, 40v40 Alterac Valley, in my opinion, kind of set the standard for what we know now. Not the standard, but like the beginning of like massive PvP conflicts, even though it devolved into just running past one another. I think this is where like World v World type and Cyrodiil type kind of like started from. Okay, Guild Wars 2, obviously map-wide meta events and world bosses are fucking great. PlanetSide 2, even though it's an FPS, I don't consider PlanetSide 2 an MMORPG, right? But PlanetSide 2, technically, the whole game is world v world, right? So in terms of PvP, it is a massive multiplayer online, right? But it's an FPS, so it doesn't really matter. So we're just talking about the MMO aspect. Ambient systemic MMOs, which is more like all OSRS, right? So the shared presence and interdependent systems, right? So for example, the market, right? Like the market is massively multiplayer online. No one person can control the market, yada yada yada. But the problem I have with this is, well, then is Diablo 3 back when it had an auction house an MMO then? Like does that, oh, this is just an aspect of MMO. So for me, I don't really care about this, because then you can say that Path of Exile is an MMO, right? You can go to one of the more popular towns, you will see a lot of players, right? It's like, oh, the whole gameplay is solo, sure, but you have your hubs, you can see a lot of players, so it's like, are you playing an MMO then? Not really, right? It has a massive market, yeah, but it's not an MMO, right? Yeah, it took an aspect, but it's not an MMO. That's kind of how I feel about old school RuneScape. Yeah, you see players, but you kind of just play solo. You do raids, you do them solo. It has the PvP hotspots. I would say that is the most MMO out of it. But even then, it's kind of like 1v1 for the most part, right? I don't know. Old school RuneScape just doesn't feel like an MMO. Like, you don't do anything with other people. It's a single player. It's a massively multiplayer online single player game. Like, does that make sense? Right? EVE Online, the economy, the alliances, territorial wars, this is all like MMO-esque, right? But it's like, are you actively participating in something with a ton of people, right? And also I want to differentiate between PvE and PvP. There is MMO PvP. So for example, ESO is not an MMO RPG in my opinion. There's nothing to do in the world with other people. But Cyrodiil is a very MMO-esque, right? It's very MMO PvP. The game itself, not really, right? Instances like queuing into a dungeon or doing like a 12-man trial, whatever, like it's like that's not massive, right? Even though it is a feature in MMOs, I don't consider that MMO. I consider that instance playing. I don't consider World of Warcraft retail right now an MMO at all, right? In my opinion, it is only instance based with a hub where people meet. There's nothing to do in the world in massive groups. Even Final Fantasy XIV is not an MMO. The only thing you do in Final Fantasy XIV, for example, as an MMO would be like hunts, right? A hunt train. I think that's what they call like a hunt train, right? Like you just go and you just kill all those rares, and that looks cool. You see like a massive group of people flying on their mounts, going from like monsters to monster, right? Like doing the hunts. That is the only thing that is MMO in FF14, right? Limsa Lominsa RPing is not MMO, okay? That is like VR chat, okay? So why are they both MMOs? Again, like in my opinion, they are not. That's just how it is. Like if I don't feel players, it's not like I don't feel like it's an MMO. So now that I kind of explained to you what I feel like an MMO is, and again, it is the first category, active cooperation MMO, not ambient systemic MMOs, okay? In my opinion, right? And this is gonna, you know, make a lot of people just fucking rage like crazy in the comments. In my opinion, Guild Wars 2 is the only real MMORPG out there right now. Aside from like, you know, classic WoW, we can call it an MMORPG. Pretty much everything happens outside. You have to interact with other players to achieve anything. 40-man raids, right? Guild runs at world bosses. Sure, I'll give it to classic WoW. At least it feels like an MMO. Every other game just doesn't feel like an MMO. Pretty much every other game is single player. And by the way, I don't hate that they are single player. I'm totally fine with them being single player. I just don't feel like they're an MMO. That's pretty much it. Now, why is Guild Wars 2 an MMO? Well, dude, look at the metas. Like, literally just the metas. So many times I would just go into a map, try and do like, you know, like the simplest thing. It's like, oh, I just want to pick up my chest. It's like, oh, Gang Wars is up and there's a commander. You join the squad, boom, you're in squad with like 40 other people. It's like, oh, shit. Okay, picking up my chests in Piora Marches, right? And it's like, oh, Drakkar is up at this exact moment and there's a squad running towards it. You join, boom, group of like 30 to 50 people, right? Randomly going to Seitung province or something like that because I need to like turn in the weekly statues, and it's like, oh, well, you know, Aetherblade Assault is starting, and from Aetherblade Assault you go into Blackout, you go into Gang Wars, you go into Dragon's End, right? Assault on the Jade Sea, right? And like out of nowhere you just spend 2 hours doing metas, 2.5 actually, pretty much, right? Just hanging out with like 40-50 other people, right? Randomly stopping by Inner Neos and the East meta is up, and it's like, okay, you go, you do the East meta, like whatever, maybe there's a squad going, maybe not, right? And you finish that and suddenly there's a squad forming. It's like, yo, fuck it, let's just do the West meta and then go into the Spider meta, right? And like, boom, you just spent another like hour and a half out of nowhere because you just want to stop by Inner Neos and you just join a massive group of people just doing stuff in the world. And this happens all the time. All the time. This is like standard. Okay, pretty much anywhere you go in the world, like some big shit is happening. Obviously, these are all on rotation, but so often, if you just switch maps, just because you're doing stuff, you're just switching maps here and there, you're gonna end up in a group of 40 people and just doing like a huge meta. How many times did I go to Dragonfall to just buy the daily mist thing from the merchant for karma, right? Get my 5. And then it's like, well, I see a commander, right? And I see like the phases are like phase 3. Fuck it. Join him. Finish all the phases. Do the meta. Open the 27, I believe, chests, right? Drizzlewood is probably like the most common one. Every day I go to Drizzlewood, to the merchant, to buy those like to exchange materials for standing, right? Almost every day I go there, I would say 50-50. There is a squad almost already at, what's his name? Claw of Jormak. Fuck it, join it, you know? Like, why the hell not? Okay? I do not experience this, and you will not experience this in any other MMORPG right now. Maybe Ashes of Creation, God knows when that would be live, and honestly, I have a lot of doubts about Ashes of Creation. You will not experience this in World of Warcraft, okay? Usually doing the world boss runs and stuff like that, this is like premeditated, right? Like you have to reorganize it before, kind of like doing a convergence in like a CM convergence in Guild Wars 2. This is kind of like something you predetermine, right? There's like certain schedule, you set it up with people, you don't just like go at it out of nowhere. So like, even though convergence and the world bosses, world buffs in WoW Classic are similar in that regard, right? It's not as much MMO as just you're in the world and some big shit is happening. How many times do you see a video of like, hey, I just started Guild Wars 2, right? Oh man, my favorite video is by Rose. I swear, this video by Rose was so good. First impressions of Guild Wars 2, and like this part where he's just like talking about stuff, and then it's like, oh well, what about this? Oh, what is this? And then there's this event, and then there's this, and there's so many things are happening. Now he's talking about like some like discoverability, jumping puzzle, whatever, but so many people are making videos of just like, you know, I was just questing, and suddenly I see a huge group of people flying and running towards somewhere, and then there's like, you go and it's like the Shadow Behemoth, right? I'm not saying that the Shadow Behemoth is something like, oh my god, this is so fucking out of this world, right? It is technically just a piñata, okay, like all the world bosses, but it's the feel you get while playing it, right? Think about the first time that, you know, people brought Kazakh to Stormwind. How fucking cool is it? Like, it sucked because like it just one-shot everyone, but that shit was fucking awesome. You know, you have this huge fucking demon in your city destroying everything. Now obviously Shadow Behemoth is not going into the city, but even just the first time you fought Kazakh, right? Or the first time you saw Kazakh in Classic World of Warcraft, the first time you saw one of the 4 dragons in Classic World of Warcraft, right? And you just, holy fuck, man, what is this? And then you bring a huge group of people and you fuck it up, right? And then it's like, oh, cool, like, you know, this is fucking awesome, right? That's what I feel like an MMO's soul is supposed to be. Yeah, all the like dungeons, like the instance play, that's fine, like that you can have it. Like it's not this is not anti-MMO, obviously. There is room for stuff like dungeons, there is room for stuff like raids and PvP and instance combat and fractals and Mythic Plus. All of this is fine. But when you play an MMO, I feel like the world is really what matters. The world and like sharing it with people or like playing it with people. If you go about it solo, like let's say something like OSRS, like yeah, you see people, but they're like NPCs. You don't really interact with them outside in the world unless it's like a PvP zone, right? There's no reason, right? It's like, oh great, I go to fishing and there's like 30 other people fishing. Yeah, but like you're not fishing together, you know? You're just like, you're fishing next to each other. It's like going to Walmart and it's like you're shopping and somebody else is shopping. It's like, oh, we're all shopping together. No, there's a difference between shopping with people and shopping near people, okay? Same as like fishing with people and fishing near people. Same as fighting with people and fighting near people, okay? And in my opinion, Guild Wars 2 and, I hate to admit it, but Classic WoW, a lot of times it's fighting with people, not near people. That is it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys, I'm gonna leave me all the angry comments. I see you OSRS players. I know you're coming with your pitchforks. Leave the comments. Honestly, I love it. I love when people are angry in the comments. It's, you know, it means I managed to touch your soul. And again, if you're gonna be disrespectful towards me and not towards my points, expect the same treatment. I have to make this disclaimer because some people think like they can just come in, say bullshit, and then when I start talking to them the same way they talk to me, they're like, oh, look at you being all offensive and shit. Bro, don't be offensive towards me. Talk about the points. That's totally fine. I will argue with you in a adult manner. As soon as you say one thing bad about me, bro, like about the arguer and not the argument, buddy, no respect anymore. I'm gonna talk to you the way you deserve to be talked to, okay? So just keep that in mind when you leave a comment. Anyways, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.